All right, welcome to Recruiting is No Joke live from RecFest 2025. We're in Nashville. It is hot, it's humid, it's fun, it's laid back. We're having a great time. This is day 2 of interviews. Yesterday we had some really great guests, and today it's the same. I want to give a special shout out to our host, Purple Acorn. We're in the Purple Acorn tent. It's great. We got the great setup right by the entrance. I also want to give a shout out to our friends at Basic Capital as well for sponsoring the show. But we have another guest, so I'd love for you to let us know, who are you, what do you do, and who do you do it for?
Yeah, thank you. Great question to start out with.
Right? Like, who are you? You got to get really
my
deep.
My name is Kayshia Kruger. So what I do is I'm a VP of People and OD at a company
amazing.
called ORC. So really I'm just in charge of our people strategy, connecting the dots across our business and helping retain and engage our employees.
Amazing.
And I actually have a different, unique background than most folks here. I come from a background of organizational psychology and org development.
Very cool. So you didn't just fall into
No.
recruiting and people?
Absolutely not. I've
Okay.
actually just been learning about that space in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But you know what the one common denominator is across everything in the people space? Humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, I think in doing this show, I've done maybe 150 episodes. We're coming up to that.
Wow.
I think I've only had 3 people who purposefully chose to go into the field. So I love that. What's, I guess, what surprised you in kind of getting into the people side of the business, HR, leading people on the corporate side? What are some of the big surprises you had in getting into the field?
So I think in order to answer that, I can give more context into why I got in the field
Yeah,
in the
I
first
love
place.
that.
So I actually wanted to go into clinical psychology. I wanted to help, individuals at an individual scale. And I started that off in my undergrad career. And then I took an abnormal psych class and I was like, oh, this is going to be hard to compartmentalize, not take home. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really want to see change scale a lot quicker than at the individual level. I want to see impact, and I want to be able to create and influence impact at a much larger way. And so I started doing research, and I was like, oh, we spend a third of our lifetime in the workplace.
Yeah.
We should be capitalizing on that place. So I came across the field called IO, or industrial organizational psychology, and I was like, oh, it's workplace, it's business, and it's psychology coming together, and that is where I get to spend a lot of my time.
I love that. And you did a talk here at RecFest, or are you going to be doing a
Today,
talk?
actually, later today.
What's the talk on? Give us that.
So we're going to be talking about not AI. We're going to be talking about a little bit of a reprieve. We're going to be talking about the mindset shift that talent needs right now.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me more about that, because
Yeah.
now you got me curious.
Yeah, so when we talk about in the age of AI, what are all the uniquely human skills that we want to preserve? I think of a couple: critical thinking.
Yeah.
I think of systems thinking.
Yeah.
And being able, what that is connecting the dots across the business and being able to understand and recognize patterns. And I think talent professionals are in a unique position to do that. They see things on both ends of an employee life cycle, from onboarding all the way to attrition. And so being able to connect those dots and have a seat at the strategic table with the executives is so critical to be able to tell a powerful story around our people in our business.
Obviously, the last couple of years, in a lot of areas, right? The tech and obviously talent acquisition's been impacted. Lots of friends who've jumped out of TA, kind of wanting to move into other things, a lot of instability. We're seeing that across the board. Obviously, there's a lot of AI coming into the market, a lot of fear around, is this going to replace what I do? What are your thoughts on that? And how do you kind of coach leaders in the business to prioritize, obviously, profit and people, but how do you kind of balance that?
All
what's
the
best
P's,
way?
right? That's
all
the
the P's.
theme. Yeah. So I think a couple things come to mind because I'm coaching my team, but also others. I did a design thinking lab a couple weeks ago with some OD practitioners, really thinking through how are we feeling about AI right now in this space?
Yeah.
Are we feeling hopeful or are we feeling more fearful? And a lot of the responses are, we're actually a little more fearful than we are hopeful.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because
Media?
it's unknown, right?
Yeah.
It's unknown. It's not something that has ever been traversed. We don't have where it's going to land. We don't kind of see the end point yet. Obviously, 2020, we can look back at when cars came into play and all of these other technologies, and with the internet, and we can see where it is ended today, right? But with AI, we can't. It's something that's completely unknown, and it's really hard to connect the dots where we are today. So I think I'm hopeful because I'm participating in the change, and that gives me hope because there's agency over how are we influencing it. How are we designing this next phase of AI, whether it's ASI, artificial superintelligence, or it's the AGI, artificial general intelligence, as the next step. This is the first time in history that nobody in this entire world has more than 10 years of experience
So wild.
playing with AI in the way that we're doing it today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so just know that reframe is really helpful, just knowing that no one has the playbook.
Yeah.
If you mess up, it's okay. Everyone else is messing up too,
Yeah.
right? The other cool thing I think about is how women are at the starting line with men for the first time in contributing and influencing the advancement of AI.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's one of the things I've noticed in conversations with people. Probably noticed it around the pandemic, but this word started creeping in: uncertainty, just uncertainty, and it's just. And I think AI, like you said, it compounds it because we know there's going to be jobs that are created. We know that there's going to be work, but we don't know what it looks like. But it is helpful to step back and go, yeah, nobody does know what it looks like.
Yeah.
What about from like because one thing I noticed too is like from a content point of view, I'm a big YouTube fan, so I'll go on YouTube. The algorithm sucks me in. I see a lot of content out there that's really doom and gloom with AI. So like, what's your advice for people in kind of like, is it helpful to consume that, or is it like having a balance in your own mind and how you're thinking about things?
Yeah, my psychology background's kicking in here, and I say
good.
boundaries is like the most effective thing you can do right now.
Yeah.
Same thing applies when COVID was happening, all the news and the media. It's really difficult to consume that every day and maintain a positive outlook on life. So you have to choose. You have to make a choice. Do you want to have more of a positive outlook? Do you want to contribute? Do you want to have an external or an internal locus of control over your situation? And so if you want to be able to have agency over that, I say set boundaries, limit what you consume. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Set some time limits for yourself.
Yeah.
Create friction points that'll hold you back from consuming so much. And then have a support system that you can have conversations like this. This event is great because there are lots of real people here dealing with real problems and also real fears around the use of AI.
Yeah, I love that. Now, obviously, you've been walking around, you've seen some of the tools. Anything that you're excited about and you're thinking like, yeah, this is something which, I'm just excited about, or like, what's your kind of general thought with the tools?
Yeah, so I co-lead an AI steering committee with our IT, our CIO in my company. So it's really cool because not a lot of companies are putting the CIO and the head of people at the helm of AI, right? Because you think traditionally that's tech. So it goes to tech, but there's so much more to it than tech, especially when we're trying to keep the human in that loop. So what I found that is really inspiring is the focus on middleware, or just kind of being a tech stack speak, like to get them to speak across different techs would be ideal for every organization. And technologies are still not up to pace with that yet. They're still trying to figure out, all right, now there's all these systems and tools that are coming out and they're part of the playground. So how do we get our system to allow us to be able to speak to other systems really cohesively? Because what organizations don't want to do is they don't want to have employees or candidates in several systems at once. So 5 to 10 systems, that's just so much friction. People are disengaged. So you're not going to get people to do anything in that. So from a change management perspective, you think, if you're going to get people to adopt tools, you want people to have one single point, a source point, right, where they're going to go and centralize their experience. And I've seen some pretty cool tools here that are starting to get to lead that charge.
What about from the candidate side?
Yeah.
Candidate experience right now.
Yeah.
It's a tough place. You've got candidates that are using AI. They're mass applying. Companies are having to sift through things.
Yeah.
What are you seeing for your company? Like, how are you handling kind of like mass applicant flow, those types of things?
Great question. So we actually have a very unique, different perspective. What's happening with us is based on the nature of our business. So we're actually a right-of-way professional services firm, very niche within the real estate industry.
Yeah.
So we help business public sector and utility entities acquire land rights. So think about transportation or transmission lines, things like that. They need to go in and acquire those land rights. Then they're going to contact a professional services company like ours. And because it's so niche and there's specific qualifications that are required, we actually don't have an overflow of candidates. We have to think upside down and turn everything around and say, how do we create more awareness for what our business is and how it affects communities in a positive way? So we are leading the nation's infrastructure in our business and what we do, and how do we get the next generation to be able to be aware of that? And the next generation wants to be part of social impact and social responsibility. So it seems like an easy sell, but it also falls in line with some of those trade type of opportunities and jobs, and not as much interest in those areas right now.
Well, I've seen a big shift with particularly a lot of new grads that are coming into the job market. It's really tough. You're seeing headlines around entry-level positions getting slashed and kind of replaced by AI. So I have seen kind of a resurgence of this hands-on work, these trades. Obviously tough if you've gone to got a four-year degree, spent a lot of money, and then to think about going into the trades. But what do those opportunities look like? And maybe for some of the parents who are out here, or maybe even some of the new grads who are listening, why it's kind of getting into some of this hands-on work? Why is that a positive thing for them? Why should they look at that?
Absolutely. And I think to your point, the trades are resurging, but it's not out of interest initially, right? It's out of forced survival, essentially. So I hope that they can connect to something that they find interesting. For the parents out there, I'd say that college is not the only choice. When I was growing up, my dad, military guy, gave me two options. After high school, you're going to college or you're going to the military. I chose college. But that's not necessarily the path for everyone in this next generation. So I would just say explore different options, and they have more and more opportunities to get involved in trade like jobs and crafts right before you can enter, that kind of college age readiness.
Yeah, I love it. And I think, those are the types of jobs too, which least likely to be replaced in the short term. A lot of entrepreneurial opportunities out there as well. A lot of, I know, just an aging workforce, particularly with construction and the manual labor, that's an aging workforce. So it's a lot of opportunity there. And I think that shift away from, those fully remote tech jobs, that's obviously happening. What about, talking about in-office type roles? Are you guys in office? What's your kind of...
So we are in office, but I think one of the biggest shifts that's happening right now is this generational wealth transfer. And I think entrepreneurs, if you're interested in acquiring companies, there are tons and millions of businesses out there that are ready to hand over their business. They're nearing retirement. So over 10 million of those business owners are 55 plus, and they don't have a next person to hand that over. There's these programs that colleges do called ETA, or Entrepreneurs Through Acquisition, where they get you ready from a business perspective, and then they have you go out and either secure funding through, lenders or PE, or you can kind of do an earn-in succession model where you can kind of work with a potential business owner who wants to retire and kind of shadow them, and then transfer that
the value.
Then you end up owning that when that individual wants to retire. So that's another path that is really, really fascinating.
I love that. Well, where can people connect with you? Where's the best place for people to find out what you're up to? Where can people find you?
So LinkedIn is probably the place where I spend most of my time. You can find me through my name, Kayshia Kruger. I'm on there, and connect with me there.
Amazing. Well, Kayshia, thank you so much for showing up and being on the show. And I'm looking forward to hearing your talk. What time is it at again? Just for everyone out there?
2:15.
2:15.
At the Inspire stage right over here.
All right, amazing. So you're ready to inspire the crowd with some non-AI talk.
Are you ready to be inspired?
I am. I am. Well, as soon as I hear no AI, I'm automatically inspired right now.
That's the only hook I have. So
I love that. I love it. Well, I just want to give a special shout out again to Basic Capital. They did give you a gift here as well that you can take. So I'll hand that. And then
appreciate it.
We've got Purple Acorn here as well. Thank you so much for hosting us. Kayshia, again, thank you so much. And I just always tell any of the listeners, viewers, if they want to connect with our guests, send a connection request on LinkedIn. Say I heard you on the podcast, and then just be patient, because I know you're not hanging out on LinkedIn nearly as much as I am. So thank you again.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.